Roberto Serrano ha entrenado por más de 38 años en las artes marciales, primero como adolescente, después como cadete de la Academia de la Fuerza Aérea de los Estados Unidos y luego como miembro del equipo de karate de la Fuerza Aérea. Cinta negra de octavo grado, campeón mundial, fue llevado a la Pared de la Fama de las Artes Marciales de América. Esta es una historia de Johnny Munoz.
I grew up in inner city Chicago in a decent neighborhood, but it still had problem kids and bullies, and I was bullied through my first few years of school. So that was one of the things that made me early on, that plus seeing Bruce Lee on TV, made me want to do martial arts. And then being bullied made me want to do it to defend myself, so to be able to protect myself from the bullies. My parents wouldn't let me do martial arts when I was a kid because they thought it was something more for adults. They thought it was something that would cause me to get into more fights and get into trouble versus being something that would help me. So unfortunately, I didn't get to do martial arts until much later in life. I've been doing martial arts now for early 1980. So is when I originally started training hard in martial arts till now, pretty much full time. And I've done, even early on in my training, I put so much time and energy into it and many hours, more than the casual student that does a couple hours a week. My first taste from competition came, I was a cadet at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. I was recruited onto the Air Force karate team, and I competed as a result of being part of that team. And early on, I won a national championship at a big tournament out west, which pretty much infused that into the competitive nature into my system. In 2001, I got the opportunity to start competing internationally with the U.S. team, and competed until 2010. I also became a coach on the U.S. team, competed in pancration, competed in karate, competed in eskrima and stick fighting, and have won world championships in each one of those and medals pretty much every time I competed. The most prideful moment was when Team USA went to compete against Team Puerto Rico in Puerto Rico. I'm Puerto Rican, and it was one of my most proudful moments when I got to compete. Unfortunately, it wasn't with Team Puerto Rico, but it was against them. But during the competition, we were fighting a five-man team competition, cumulative points, which means each fighter's points add up. And I was the last fighter on my team for Team USA to fight, and we were way behind on score. And as we competed and kept moving forward, I was winning and beating my opponent. And it was amazing to me, and I'm gonna come to tears, that the crowd in Puerto Rico started cheering for me because they had announced that I was Puerto Rican as well. So by the end of it, I had lost by 1 point at the last second. Team Puerto Rico won by 1 point, but I had come back from an 11-point deficit for the team. I had been approached many times to open a school or to start teaching at a professional level, and I didn't want to because I was concerned that doing it for a living would compromise my pride in what I was doing it for, having to make a living at it. I was still running classes. I was running classes through a rec department, and one day a bunch of the parents came together of the students and took me to dinner and sat down and says, you know, we need you to do this full time. We need you. Our kids need you to do this, and we had students that were winning at tournaments that were doing really well, and the parents wanted to encourage me to do it. And they knew that there was an opportunity on the table for me for a location, and they supported me and helped me get it going. We're Martial Arts America, and we do karate, taekwondo, Filipino eskrima, which is a Filipino art of stick fighting, which also represents edged weapons, Okinawan Kobudo, jiu-jitsu, grappling skills, and pankration. Pankration is the traditional, it's the original mixed martial art. There's a team of 6 instructors that work with me and run different classes depending on their schedule. The one that's been with me the longest is Mr. Cook, 5th degree black belt, who has been with me now for 35 years. He was one of my original students and one of the first instructors to work with me. And we worked together originally as police officers as well. And he's a retired police officer and he's still teaching.
Shuffle. Understood?
Martial arts is one of the best things to get people involved in, not just kids, but adults too, because of the focus, because of the concentration, because of the discipline that it requires, and the structure that's built in. My daughter, she's now about to turn 15 in a few days, has been training pretty much since the day she was born. Everything we've taught her, the way I brought her up to be strong, the way I taught her to face adversity, even before she started training in martial arts. But she officially started training in martial arts. She was a little older than 2 when she actually started taking classes. But even before that, she was a natural. She would be standing outside the doors wanting to go into the class, and if somebody turned around, she'd run out. And what was funny was she wouldn't run out to line up with the students. She ran around to the front and stood the class and would tell them to come to attention and get them to bow, and she was going to start teaching the class.
Sometimes you hear those stories where like your father does something and the children wants to do it too, so they would like do it. Ever since I was little, he'd bring me here, so I'd crawl around on the floor and things, and I would observe the classes he taught and how they stood up and started to kick. So when I was about 2, when I started to walk, I would stand up and I'd try to like do these things, trying to like copy my dad. So then he thought it would be a good idea to start me in this, and I've been doing it since I was 2. Before that, I did tournaments. Some were local and some were worldwide. I went to, and I was going, and my brother took all first places. I took 2 first places and a 2nd place.
She's been training consistently her entire life. She is now a 2nd degree black belt. She's an amazing individual. She's a great student at school. She's a star athlete in soccer and in volleyball as well. He is now 11 years old, a very mature young man, but still a young man, has a lot of fun. Same thing, he took a little longer to start training. I think we finally got him started in classes just before he was 3, so he's a little bit older, but still consistently training. He's a 3rd level junior black belt right now. We have 5 levels of junior black for juniors before they go to 1st degree black. He's a 3rd level junior black belt working on his 4th level.
We practice a lot of different things. Right now we're doing weapon forms. Some of them are easy and some of them are harder. Some of them take different times if they're longer. Creo que tenía como 6 o 7 años y estaba haciendo grappling, sparring y forms, todos first place.
I'm blessed and love what I do, and I love the people I get to do it with. Not many people in their life get to do what they love for a living, and I know every single day that I come here, owning a business and running a business is a big responsibility, but I'm blessed that I get the opportunity to do that.